So real quick, guys, if you go to Google and type in SI Google site, the UCF one's going to be the first one that pops up. You're going to click on it. It's going to go. You're going to go to Study Union Rules, and you're going to go down, and I even like to, I was about to say, I like to find the Chem 20. There we go. You're going to open it. And you're going to find 4 old exams and a study union review, all right? So again, this session will be filmed. If you're in Hyder's section, you should already have all the answers to these, hopefully. What we're going to be doing today is just going through select topics, using these, the old exam reviews as a means to deliver that topic, if that makes sense. So we're not going to be going through each and every single question and going through what the answer is. We're going to be reviewing the concepts and the topics. Study book? Yeah, so don't bother with exam 2 because you have the ACS study book. You can also go online and find the ACS exam book. Does that make sense for everyone? Yes? All right. So let's switch back here. All right. Okay. So we have plenty of time. Shapes, yes, we'll cover it. If you look at, we'll cover that here in just a minute. For questions 9 and 11, we'll talk about shapes. All right. What else? And you should know shapes. You should know the general. You don't need to know specifics. Like you don't need to know all. I think there's like 30 plus of them. Yeah, you're not. Okay, so let's go back. That's weird. So, yeah, you have to click the arrow. So make sure you're clicking the arrow, because it's a zip file. It's not like a standard folder. Yes, no, I'm not seeing any. If you have questions at any point, obviously the room is like really far that way from me. I can't see you all at all times. So just be like, hey, over here, and like wave your hand at me, get my attention. This isn't like a formal lecture, so please get my attention if I don't see your hand. Is that good for everybody? A couple of these I'm going to cross out and I'm be like, you can ignore this. Because the problem doesn't really reflect what you should know. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Number 1. All right. The density of a 20% by mass ethylene glycol solution in water is 1.0 grams per milliliter. Find the molarity of the solution. Let's go that way. All right. So if I have a solution and it's 20% ethylene glycol, I'm going to percentages. We can always just kind of guesstimate a number. So in this case, I'm going to say I have 1,000 grams. All right, that's what I'm going to assign 1,000 grams to my solution. Does that make sense? So when I go through to do this, that means that 200 grams of this is my C2H6O2. Yes, we good with that? All right, let me find, because I'm missing papers here. My molar mass for this, which is going to be, that should be 0.2258. Are my calculations right? Does anybody disagree with that number? Can everybody see this? That's probably a better question. Is that better? A little bit? All right. So now from here, they're asked for the molarity, yes? How do we define difference? Is it an important difference? Yeah, so make sure you guys keep that in mind. So for molarity, we have moles of solute over liters of solution, all right? Because in this case, think about this. We have a liters of solution. We have 1,000 kilograms, and they gave us a density. So we're going to, in a minute here, find the amount. But if we were talking about the amount of water, 8.2258, that should say moles of my solute. And then when I go to calculate my my volume of solution, they told me I had a density of 1.03 grams per milliliter, yes? So now I can take that, and I can take 1,000 grams, and I can divide it by 1. When I go do that, I get 970 milliliters. Do we agree with that? Does anybody disagree with that math? Oh, wait. So now when I come down here, remember that we want this in liters, so I'm going to plug in 0.970. That. Yes? All right. If I'd asked you for the molality, how would we define molality? Moles of solute, excellent, over what? Kilograms of solvent, perfect. Be water, which means I have 800 grams of water, yes? So that means I'm going to have 0.8 kilograms of H2O. 0.22, which is going to give me P of 4.03. Does everybody go with that? We have two different things that say similar things. Anybody know? Let's talk about colligative properties. So if I talked about the boiling point elevation or freezing point depression, which one do I use? Molality, so there's a relationship with molality. But if I talked about osmotic pressure, which one do we use? Molarity, so there is a relationship with molarity of the solution. Does that make sense? Hopefully? All right. Let's go to, for number 2, we are going to skip number 2. I don't like the wording on that. It's a little too ambiguous, and ACS tends to be very clear-cut. So let's talk about number 3. The mass of an evacuated flask, or the mass of an evacuated 255 milliliter flask